Okay guys, I'm still at class, so we're hearing from beautiful Yorkson Creek this afternoon. I'm just setting up so you guys can just get yourselves ready. I'll turn on the chat. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I'm here guys. It's about 3:57 right now, so we'll start in 3 minutes. Haley, you can put your hand down. So how many of you guys actually have a camera on your phone, like a video? Lexi does. Man, 8-man office, and they asked that. That's cool. Okay, 1 more minute and we'll start. As soon as my computer time says 4 o'clock. Okay, well, I guess we could do a little game of find the typo of the week. I just was reading this and it says do and audio setup wizard and have a pencil, paper, and calculator. But I was just spelled calculator right this time, so it's getting better. Anyhow, thanks for being here, you guys. It just makes my life so much better if I have people to talk to. And we're going to start out today. So the next section in our book talks about using logical reasoning with math. I think that's really important with this kind of math. I know I've been talking about this right through this unit. But this is the math that you will most often use when you're out in the world. So some of the math maybe you won't use as often. Things like 2D geometry or statistics, they might not come up in your life very often. But this is one of the things that you can use very often. So here we are. In Canada, 10% of the people are left-handed. If there are 55 people in a group, anywhere in Canada, how many do you think would be left-handed? So let's be talking about this one. So we know, for example, that 55, let me just get my pen here, I'm going to change it to, let's see if black writing looks good today. I sort of have my mouse working, it's acting like a little stupid thing. Okay, so I've got black ink now. So let's write down the number 55 first. Now, we know that the decimal goes here, so when I move it back, what are we going to have as 10% of 55? Someone can type it in. Can you guys hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, so all of you can. Okay, so nobody typed anything, so I just wondered. Okay, so we 55, we move our decimal point back. So 10% of 55 people would be 5.5. What's the problem with that? Anyone thinking about that? Or maybe it's just, maybe I moved up too far in the thing. There we go. About 5. All right? Why would it be about 5? Jasmine and Stephen both typed in the right answer. You can't have half a person. So we know that it would be logical to have 5 or even maybe 6. Now, the reason we might have 6 is because really when we look at rounding up a whole number, after we look at the digit in the tenths column, we know that 5 or more we round up. 4 we round down or stay the same. So in this case, to round up would make sense. So it would be 5 or 6. You can have half a person, but they're usually not very talkative, let's put it that way. So in that case, you probably wouldn't get out of them whether they were left or right-handed. So, everybody understand that? No troubles there? So when you're using logical reason with this one, you have to think about the half a person thing. So remember, tonight we're just talking about what makes sense. Okay, turtles. All right. Turtles live for 205 years on average. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but they live for a very long time. I made this question up, so please don't check it on Google because I could be wrong. The lifespan of a given is about 25% of the lifespan of a turtle. All right? So how are we going to figure that out? Okay. So we have this average living turtle. Let's say we could round that to 200 years. Does it matter to a turtle? What do we think? Does it make sense to round that to 200? William says yes. Why do you think so, William? He's typing furiously. Well, it's either that or 210. That's right. So in order for us to round this, we're going to round it to a number that makes it easy for us to do the calculations. So 25% of 200. Now there's two ways of doing that that we know. Someone tell me what the first way is that we know. They'll both get the same result. Okay, first one, William says we divide by 4. That's right. We use what we call the benchmark. All right? So we know that 25% is one of our benchmarks because we can use, oh, look at that. You know why I'm writing so well today? Because I got my mouse working. Okay? So this is the benchmark. So we know 25, we divide the number by 4. So what is about the average lifespan of a given then? Want to see answers from more than just 1 or 2 people? 20. So 200 divided by 4? There we go, a few answers coming in. It equals 50. So we're using our benchmark, 25. We know that 25%, we divide the number by 4 to get every 25%. So 200 divided by 4 would give you 50. So the gibbon lives for 50 years. Now the important thing to remember if we're doing a quiz, when you have a problem like this, what is the important thing to remember? No one's got it? The important thing to remember when we have this on a quiz is to answer the question. Don't just do what I did. I just did a whole bunch of calculations all over the page, and I kind of did that on purpose because I want you to show what this is what your tests look like when they come in, right? So you'll have done all your calculations on there, but sometimes you forget to answer the question. Now, the thing is that you should say a gibbon lives about 50 years or 51. 51 is probably, you know, a bit of an unrealistic average, so 50 years would be just fine. But what you have to do is somewhere on that paper you have to write down the answer. Now some of us were running into that today because we figured out the amount of discount. Last week we had a question that said William was going to buy some new Jordans and they were $159.99 and they were on sale for 30% off. And the question was, what is he going to pay for the shoes? But the thing that most people did was they figured out 30% of $159.99, which was I think $47, $47.99. So in that case, that was fine, except that you needed to finish that off. All right? So the second way we do this, thank you, Manri. The second way we do this is we figure out 200 times 0.25, because we know that 25% is 0.25 is a decimal equivalent. All right? 200 times 0.25 equals, if you do that on your calculator right now, it equals 50. All right. So that's awesome. Those are the two ways we know to do that one. Let's move on. Snowboarding. True story. I asked this to Jared, knew this in the class this afternoon. About 100 students are going on the ski trip to Yorkson Creek. The school population is actually right now 799 students. What percentage of students are on the trip? So, again, two ways to do this one. The first one is to round to the 799 to 800, and I think we'll do that. So 100 out of 800 students are going. It's actually 1/8, William. So you're going to take your calculator and you're going to do 100 divided by 800, and you're going to get decimal 125. Now, what percentage of students are going on the trip? Anyone want to venture this one? Because it's something we haven't done. Good. Stephen's got it. So remember that we're doing equivalence, and that's going to leave a decimal in our percentage. So it's going to be 12.5% of the students are going on the field trip. So Jasmine rounded that to 13, which is absolutely fine. And there was a bunch of people today worrying about 1 cent when they were doing percentage calculations. We never worry about 1 cent. Okay? Think about if we're doing money in Canada, we don't have a penny anymore. So unless you're using your debit card, if you were paying cash, you would be rounding that to the nearest nickel anyway. We're not going to bother with that in math, but you have to think about that, right? It doesn't make sense to fret over a penny. All right. So remember we said 100 equals what percent? And then we have the 799. Just a second. I'm going to clear the page. I don't have enough room to work on this. Okay, so everybody gets the first one? All right. Oh, lost my pen, of course. Coming back to it. Okay, so we were doing some of these the other day when we were doing comparative ratios. So we know equals what number? All right. So that we want to know the percentage of students Can anyone think of another way? I got to get back my thick pen. This one's not working. Hang on. Does anybody know this second way that we could do this one? We were doing some in class the other day. $100 divided by $7.99. Thank you very much. Does anybody remember why? Could you explain that verbally? Yeah. Okay. That's right. The line in the fraction means to divide. So let's do that. 100 divided by 7.99. Still 12.5, so we were pretty close. Two ways that we are going to do this, right? Either round it or calculate based on the right number. Okay, 12.51 was so. Not too much different. Okay? Anybody have a problem with these ones? Thumbs up if you're okay. Good, good, good. I'm seeing lots of thumbs up. Good, good, good. You okay, Zainab? Good, good, good. Okay, going to move on to the next page. Sales tax. What happens to the price of an item when sales tax is figured into it? Anyone have an answer for that one? No, you don't write these ones down. We're not on homework yet, Zach. It's only 4:11. I still have 6 minutes. The sales tax is added. So this was one of the problems that we had today too with people, is that they would figure out what the sales tax was, and they weren't quite sure what to do with it. Okay? So we know that the government, how the sales tax works is that the government takes the things we buy and they add on a little bit more money that we would have to pay, and that money goes to the government to pay for things. Things that the government does, like medical care and roads and all those kinds of things. You can ask your parents about this. They will know about sales tax. So the money goes to the government. It doesn't go to the person that's selling you the item. All right? So when they advertise their items, they don't advertise them with the sales tax in usually. And the reason that they don't do that is because they don't want their items to seem like they're more expensive than they are. And everybody knows about sales tax, so it's kind of a little thing that always happens. So let's figure out what we do. So we know that there's a hockey stick on the shelf. If it's $79.99, we know we have to pay sales tax on that. And the tax in this point is 6%. So what calculation am I going to do? Because there's actually two I have to do. I see some people typing. What calculation we're going to do? I'm hoping Manreet's got it, because she's still typing. Somebody can. There we go. William's got it. See what Jasmine puts in? Nope, she didn't. Manreet? Nope, still just typing. So William says that we're going to take $79.99 and we're going to multiply that by 0.06. Why 0.06? Good, Zainab. All right, the reason it's by 0.06, remember from 1 to 9, we have to make sure that we put this in the hundreds column, not in the tenths column. So it would be, for example, 0.01 would be 1%. 0.02 would be 2%. So let's get our calculators out and figure out $79.99 times 0.06. And Stephen gets it? Well, he does. $4.79 would be fine. You could also have $4.80 because it's actually $479.9. All right? But $4.79 or $4.80, we're not going to worry too much about that. Okay, so what's the next step that we have to do? Because this is where people weren't quite there today. I asked, what is the cost of a new hockey stick? So the next thing I have to do is $79.99 plus $4.80. Excellent. So Jasmine did that for us. Thank you, Jasmine. I don't like having to work too hard. And she says that we have $84.79. It's really important that you understand that. The price of a new hockey stick, the cost of you getting it out and putting it in your mom and dad's car and taking it home is going to be $84.79 because they do not put the sales tax into prices when they put the price on the shelf. They add it at the till. So you know, watch that next time you go shopping with your parents for groceries. Even then, there's a little calculation at the bottom that says what the sales tax is after the cost of their groceries. Because when you buy things like dog food and laundry soap and all that, they have tax as well. All right. What happens to the price of an item that has a discount? What happens to the price of an item that has a discount? What happens to the cost? It is taken away. Right. So the actual cost of the item gets less. So the two steps that you have to take are, you have to figure out the discount, and then you have to subtract it from the original price. And that's really important to remember. All right? So we've got an example here. The cost of a shirt at a regular price is $24.99. What is the cost after a 30% discount? Well, first of all, we've got to figure out that discount. So I'm going to round to $25 because that's what I'm allowed to do because we're in BC. And I'm going to have times 30.30. Or I can use my 10% benchmark. All right. So we know we've got $2.50 as our 10% benchmark. Times 3 is going to be $7.50. Oops. Didn't I go the most quick enough? $7.50. All right. So what is the cost of the shirt before taxes now? Good. $24.99 minus $7.50. So $17.49. So Manreet was right. All right. Now the other way we can do that is $25 times 0.3. And you'll find that you get 7.5. And you have to do the same step though. Once you've figured out the discount, you have to subtract it from the regular price, and then you'll get your sale price. And today we were talking about this in class, and then you add the taxes back on, so it always has a little bit less, right? But if you had the regular price and the sales tax on top of it, it would be a little bit more. So that's how come it's like that. Any questions about this? So discounts and sales tax are really important. That's why I keep harping on this. Here's your homework. Once you've got it copied, you can go away unless you have questions. So, if 30% of the students in a school of 854 have blonde hair, how many students is that? Okay. And what is the sale price of a pair of shoes at $59.99 with 25% off? So, if you don't remember how to do this, I will be recording the video, but it probably won't get up before late because I have to go paddling right now. I'm leaving. Okay. You can only do one if you want to. That's fine. Some people like to do them both to get some practice. I am fine with one or two. It just shows me that you were online and actually did the class. Bye, guys. See you later, Manry. Bye, Stephen. Have a good night. See you, William. Bye, Lexi. Oh, you're right. I didn't forget it on every one, I think. But I'm going to go check now. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.